Looking good, everybody. Everybody's looking good over here. Excellent. So, I'll get you guys zoomed in over there on YouTube, just real quick like. There we go. Let's go, Uncle Jimmy. Let's do it, you guys. We are live. We are on the air, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have an excellent time. Let me show you what I've done to my canvas so far. Welcome, everybody. It's Paint with Josh, your bestie. And what we did was we took a little bit of our black gesso. It's just like this guy, Liquitex black gesso. It's an acrylic medium. So you spread it on there, scrub it all out. Make sure you cover all the area in black that you want and leave the rest of it white. Okay, and that's all we did. Then I took my Bob Ross liquid clear or linseed oil and covered the dark area. Then I covered my top area in my Bob Ross liquid white. As you can see, a little touch of white paint onto the old fingies out there. Now, this is exactly how you want to test. When you check, you should be able to see all the dimples of the canvas and everything else in your glove or your fingerprint, okay? So we've got our clear on the bottom, our white on the top, and then I took a little bit of my phthalo blue, kind of scrubbed it in all down around here on the bottom, leaving these areas dark. And then this area nice and dark. This whole thing is just black with the clear base coat on it, right? There's no undercolors over there. Now, as we're gonna drag through, just again, grabbing the tip with just the bristles, just tip of the bristles, dragging it out right down to the bottom. Now we'll have a small area that we can get that paint onto our brush, right? We don't wanna go overloading it with too much heavy paint. That's gonna be bad. And we'll drop it down up here very lightly. And because we have the liquid white, it slides across the canvas, doesn't it? It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now, we don't want to get it too close to our mountain section because we're going to have to blend it as well. And I like leaving a few little areas of bright white out there, especially if we're going to blend down a blue sky. We want to have some areas of white to allow the blue to where it's not all the same blue. Right? We need the blue to change a little bit. Get our edges over here all done. Now, you guys got to do the most important part of the whole show. You got to check in and tell me where you're watching from. Just how cold is it tonight where you are in this freezing cold world, right? How cold is it where you're at in the land? Somehow already got my arm into just 10 tons of red paint, which we're not even going to be using. We're not even going to be using it. Why is it already all over me? I don't understand. Probably up into my shirt too, but what are you going to do? Take the old painter's shower, right? Now, how cold is it where you guys are? Let me know. In the world, man. Got 31 degrees, 25, 5 degrees in Utah. Ooh, the east shore of Maryland. I bet you it's way cold out there. Way cold. 16 degrees in Connecticut. My goodness. Man, it feels good to be streaming back on TikTok. It was gone for so long, right? Like what, 30 hours before we were able to stream again? Not much of a fan, if you ask me, if it was back so fast. But look at that. The more that we blend and push around that color, the more it's going to shrink, right? So, we have too much paint on our brush as of right now. We need to go get that paint off. Shake it into our little trash can, which shakes off a lot of the thinner and a lot of the color just by shaking it into the can, right? Then I'm going to bring out the brand new beater bucket. Now, my student, Brenda, one of my only in-person students, brought me this new beater bucket today. And as you can see, it's got a towel wrapped around it with a big old zip tie. So it's tied on there. And then inside, she's cut out a little hole. And on the inside of that, you can see the little dowel that's down through there. We were using it in our class earlier today. So it's a good way to kind of protect your hands so it doesn't spray out so much, right? And it's got a little lid, so you got your shield for your eyes. Beat the devil out of the brush into there. Comes out nice and clean. Same thing that I use on my bucket, just a different way to do it, right? There's all different kinds of ways to make your own little beater bucket. However you think it's going to work best for you is the way to do it, right? Always dab it off on a paper towel, though, after you get done. Never straight back up onto our canvas. Now, we probably shouldn't have even cleaned the brush yet because Josh likes to jump ahead of himself. I need a little bit of black up here into my sky. Just a little touch of the Bob Ross black. Now, if you're using something other than Bob Ross black, use a small amount of it. You don't need a whole 10-ton of it. The Bob Ross black blends away to a very nice gray or purplish grayish color. So it's not pure black. If you're using something that is pure black, please use much less, okay? Now we need a clean, dry brush again. But instead of going through the whole bucket, why don't we just come back with a new brush, right? We'll get in here and we'll start to mix it up. Remember, Paint with Josh brushes come out Friday, guys. Friday. We're going to be doing a live stream on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. And that's when the brushes will go live, is during the stream, right? So, if you're watching next Friday, or this Friday coming up, right, the 24th, January 24th, this Friday hence. Or does that mean backwards? This Friday 4th. Whatever. Watch this Friday, and if you use promo code capital, all capital letters, Josh, and then the number 5, then you'll get an extra 5% off while the show is running. Right? That's when you're going to want to get the brushes. You'll get the deal, right? Plus, everybody that's gets the brushes during the live show is going to be entered into a drawing from Craft Ammo, and then you're going to get a free gift of some sort if you win. All right, but you got to get the brushes during the live show in order for that to happen. Look at that. Look at how we just blended it out. Maybe it's a bit too dark up there still. So what do? We go back and we blend it more. Crisscross, drag it away, make it bigger, right? Let it grow. Look at that sky already, you guys. That's amazing. That's amazing over there, they say. They say. Here. The old bucket. Dab off the brush. Now, every time that you go to clean a brush, you must dab it 10, 20, 30 times on a paper towel just to get that residual wetness out of it. Never straight from the bucket back up onto your canvas. No. Don't do that. That's a gorgeous looking sky already, my guys and gals and painting pals. Guys and gals and painting pals. You guys are amazing. Quite literally amazing. Paint with Josh brushes come out this Friday. Sure, guys. What's happening over there? Lucre Arts. Checking it out. Tennessee, 18 degrees. Man, from Poland, it's -7 Celsius. That is cold. That is cold, right? Now, let's come over here. We're going to take some of this white paint. A fair amount of it when we're on a blue canvas, right? Blue sky wants to turn our clouds blue right away. So we want to grab a lot, goop it up, chunk it up onto our brush like that. So much so that it even changes the shape of the brush, okay? Then we're going to decide. We've got some darker areas, right, that we can blend back towards. So maybe come down like this, big old section, bang, just mushing and pushing that whole bit of cloud. Pop, just make a mess, right? Because we're going to go back and blend it out. Now, if you don't have enough paint, it will blend out instantly. It'll be gone. Poof, it's disappeared. All right, so we need to have enough paint up here so that when we do hit it with our brush, it stays bright, right? Now, as we come out here and mix, some areas might be thicker than other areas are, which means what? Are they going to be darker? Or are they going to remain brighter than other areas if they're thicker? All right, if the paint is thicker in one area and thinner in another area, what does that indicate? Ooh, look at that! You guys, what a cool looking cloud. If we came down over here too, just made a little bit more paint, kind of pushed it up, mixed it down. What's it going to look like? You never can tell until you get out there and do something crazy. Shoot, guys, look at that. Oh, man. I like it already. This is going to be a giant old cloudy painting, right? Now, we've dropped down into a darker section. It's not so bright blue, but we do have some brightness over that darkness, right? So what if came down again? Not all of our clouds have to touch. What if we had a bit of bright into here that we could then blend down over that dark, right? We place the colors out there for a reason. It's a calculated mess. Let's actually drag them the other way, which will drag down and create little wisps off the bottom of your clouds if you're using clockwise strokes. A little crisp over here, a little crisp over there. And you can see how it's not all the same pressure. I'm not using all the same pressure, and I'm not going from here and working every single bit all the way across. No, we're kind of jumping to a new section, and then we'll work down. Maybe jump up here, maybe pop ourselves over there, come down here without even really picking the brush up, right? Push hard enough, you can leave a brighter section. Push it hard enough up here, you can blend it away, right? What do you want it to look like? Because every time we do it, is another opportunity to what? Do it the same or do it different? What do I always say? Every time we do it is another chance to do it blank. Fill in the blank for me. Minus more 45 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right, fill in the blank. What did I say? Different is not the blank. What was the question? I forgot my own question already. Guys, pineapples in my rose garden over here. It's coming out so fantastic. Oh, what did I say? What was the question? God, I hate my own brain sometimes. Different was not it, though. Oh, you guys were right. Different was right. Well, you guys, everyone that said differently is correct, right? Because I remember what I said now. Each time we do it is another opportunity to do it blank. That could mean differently is the correct answer. We never try to do it the same, right? So differently was the answer. I'm just a little too pineapples to figure it out. Over here, we're gonna drop down again. We've got enough for one more little section of clouds back in there, right? So maybe these guys are a little flatter down into the darkness, leaving a gap of dark in between the two brights. If it comes up, you better make sure that it's brighter here than it is there, so it stands out as being in front. All these things, guys. I'm not trying to let it grow too far. Look at that cloudy sky. My guys, check this out. We're gonna come back in here and mix it, pull it down. But we don't want all the white to come all the way down, so we're judging. We're going, all right, if I just touch it very softly, nothing came down. If I touch it really hard, a lot comes down, right? So we gotta go in between those two. You have to find your pressure every time you go to do it, right? Because each time you go to do your pressure, it's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a little bit harder or softer, depending on how you have to brighten or darken your clouds, right? How do you want it to be? Because each time that we go to do it, we can do it differently. Didn't I tell you I say that all the time? All the time. Look at that. Just popped a little bit of blue, and what if we came into another little section of white? Right there. Push! Yeah, guys! Look at that. Ho, 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 ho. Man, that came out fantastic. All right, this one's done, guys. I hope you had a great time watching. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We got some more stuff to do around here, my guys and gals. And painting pals. But literally, in just under 15 minutes from the start, you get a really cool little sky. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Wait, do that one laugh. All right, I'll do the laugh. Here it comes. Oh, geez. You better be recording. Screen record. Oh, just never play that anywhere else. Ever, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Christine. Love you too. Over here. Are you doing mountains too? Not up into that sky, right? Remember, if you're watching over on YouTube, guys, one thumbs up is all I need from you. And then whether your phone dies or you scroll away or whatever, at least you would have already helped me with that one thumbs up. Just make sure it's high lit. All you need in the night. Now, if I was going to do mountains in this sky, I would not have put my clouds down here. I would have left that space empty, so I had room for my mountain to grow. Each time that you do something, you're kind of splitting it up into sections, right? And if you fill a section, you lose a section, okay? We filled this section with clouds, so if I was to come up and put my mountain right here, I've already lost all those clouds, right? Filled this section, so if I was to come up and put my mountain right here, again, already covering over all this paint that I've put on there. If I wanted to do a mountain, I should not have done the clouds, okay? I've got tons of other videos where we do mountains on skies just like this, which you could go check out on youtube.com/paintwithjosh. All right, now we're changing up the mixture, everybody. We're changing the mix. It's 40% blue, 40% crimson, only 20% black. So it's a 2 to 2 to 1 ratio, not 1 to 1 to 1 like I've been saying this whole time. Right? Because what I've been noticing is that you guys are grabbing more black than anything else. And that makes your plaque very, 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 very black, right? We want our plaque to be purple, meaning we need to use the blue and the crimson more than the black to make it bluey purplish, okay? So, 2 parts blue, 2 parts crimson, 1 part black. Does everybody remember that? Please, if you remember that, repeat it to me in the comments right now. What are our ratios for plaque? Tell me right now so I know that you know, because if you don't know, then you're going to be making it too dark at home. You are. You're going to be making it too dark. So what's the ratio? 2 parts blue. Right? Exactly, Brenda. 40, 40, 20. Or not 1 to 1 to 1 anymore, Tabby. We changed it. We're going 2 to 2 to 1. So we can take 1 to 1 to 1 and then add more blue and more crimson and less black. Right? That'll keep it more purpley and still keep it nice and dark. I've just been noticing on some of the pictures that you guys are sending in, your plaque is so dark, and then it doesn't stand out when it gets closer to us because it's all the same, right? We need it to be purplier, 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 right? We're gonna scrape up this enormous pile of paint, cut right through it with just an immense pile, right? And then I'm gonna turn my brush, and I'm gonna start to drop this immense pile of paint out onto the edge of my rocky face, right? Wherever I want it to be. Wherever my little desert landscapey, little mountain-esque canyon rock thing is where it is. Right? If I don't bring it out to that initial dark line, you can see it. Right? You can see the difference right there. Drop it down, it flows down over here, and all we're doing is piping on tons of plaque, just getting it on there, right? Because you need peaks and valleys in order for your highlights to stick. So if we wanted to cover this guy with a whole bunch of brown highlight and such, right, it's not going to stick unless we have some peaks and valleys in here, meaning some higher areas and lower areas just in the pile of paint. Just as you mush it on, it will become different. Right? Now, we're going to have our little waterfall back in here, so let's not go too crazy. I'm going to come up onto this side. Just wipe in a little bit of plaque just so I can see my horizon line, and then I'll decide what do I want to do over here. Maybe I'll come out a little bit more. We'll try to figure that out. But at least I know right in there, I've got my little opening for my waterfall, right? You're like, what waterfall? I'm like, this one right here. A little bit of white paint. We've already placed our blue back there, so as soon as we start going over it, it starts lighting it up. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Right? Get a little bit bigger. A bit more as it comes towards. It doesn't have to all even be the same color, guys. You can have a little bit of difference in there, okay? Get to the edge, and what happens when you come to the edge of a waterfall? You've got to fall, right? We're gonna come like this over to the side. Over to the left, down. Spin the brush over to the left, down. Again, left, down. Eventually, we're not gonna have any more white paint onto our brush. We're just gonna be dumping off all this blue stuff. And that's okay. Go back. Brighten it up. Little things, okay? Take everything else, all these little L7 weenies over here, and just pull them off to the side. Bang, just like that. Literally. It's going to make it look like our river got to a point, especially when we come up here and put a big rock or a bush or a projection right into there. We're going to get down here. We're going to leave a good smiley face, a good open section above, right? Darkness. That way when we start to mix this paint up, it can grow. If we put it up too high to begin with, then all of a sudden it's everywhere. It's too much. All right? What's that, Josh? Let me show you. Let me show you. As we come in here and mix this guy up, do a little cloudiness. All right? Because we have the blue, we're taking it up. I'm not trying to bring it down any further. I'm trying to work this guy upwards. So we go up, 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 not down. We don't have enough room to go down here. Over here, we can go always. All sorts of stuff. Get this little cloudy mist coming off of our waterfall. Bang. Cool little thing down in there. Then you drop in a little bit of white, leaving a dark separation underneath. It doesn't have to be that big, but you do need some sort of dark shadow underneath your cloudy mist, right? So in here, we can sneak it up a bit, We don't want to get too high up there. Right? We get too high up and we've lost the shadowiness underneath all this crazy mist. We can also, at this moment, drag it down until it's so close, right? But you decide how close is so close. Every time we do it, another opportunity, guys, to do it a little differently. Streak it out if you want to. Drag the water wherever you want to put it. Fabulous. Okay, now, and we know at least what our water is going to look like by the time it finally gets down here. We can have an idea on where our land is going to come and stop and do all that action. All the action bits. Right? Now, let's get a little paint with Josh brush. Back in here. I'm going to pull it down, but I'm not going to try to cover over all of the water. Just a little bit where it's coming through. Right, streak that guy out. Just pulling it back a little bit, leaving all the texture area on the front up here, where it's nice and texturized. Right, taking this guy, sliding him off, and we pull him out this way. However we want it to look. Right? All it is a bit of horizon in the distance. Our little waterfall or our river starts creeping over the side. Right? Cool, cool, cool little thing. Just like that. Take that bit of darkness right out of there, and then we'll do a little finger painting. Gotta do some finger painting when you're back there. It makes it fun. Right? Now let's say we've made a spot that's a little bit too big. We can't finger paint it out. That's okay. We just change the direction or the angle or the bit of our rock back there and make it look like we planned on doing that this whole time. Let's take one more little bit of our plaque and literally just gonna put it in this little rocky section back here. Just flattening it on so we can't even see it really. Like you can't even tell it's there. Except for when you go across it with your bright brown, which we're gonna do now, right? We're gonna get our 3 brown colors. We're gonna get the dark sienna, the Van Dyke brown, and our yellow ochre. So 2 brown colors and a yellow. Get down in there, that yellow ochre makes it just the most gorgeousest, sandiest brown you've ever seen. You can also, if you need to, brighten it with white, but remember it goes pale. I'd rather brighten it with yellow. Look at that. The more you streak it, all those little things in there. The more we work them, the more all the same they're going to become. And we don't want them to be all the same back there, right? So we'll go through, we'll grab up a little bit of the lighter brown, and let's start making decisions. Just very lightly grazing over our peaks and valleys that were there before. Now, why can we see some brown and we can't see other brown? Well, that's because it's gripped on to that thicker, darker paint, right? In certain areas and not in other areas. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. We turn our knife down like this, just let it flow down the side, right? As much as you want, as little as you want, as bright as you want, as dark as you want. The more times you go over it, the more times it will darken that color down, right? Let's see, like a little face back in there almost. Caught my eye. Just caught my eye. Right? The more we streak it, the more things you can do. The more you wiggle it up, the crazier it's going to be. It doesn't all just have to be going down at the same angles, right? Leave some gaps in between as well, so there's not just all brown on top of all brown. Change your angle of your pull on your rocks. Make it a little bit brighter, make it a little bit dark. Maybe go over it a little bit more on those ones that are further away, because we're not going to see them so much, right? Just got to change this whole angle right down here. Getting flatter and flatter and flatter. But now we got this big projection, almost like Indiana Jones would have something hidden way back inside that area. Turn your knife over like this and project up again. Different things, leaving darkness. It doesn't always have to be so stinking bright, right? In the areas that it is stinking bright, you can always go back over it and dull it down if you needed to. Or brighten it up if you think you needed to. You want to have a couple extra places stand out down there, give them a little extra bit of brightness. That's all you need. Drag that stuff out. We're not trying to drag it all the way to the edge. You can see there's about a whole inch, inch and a half over here, maybe a half inch, back to an inch of uncovered black canvas. Okay? Black. Leave it dark. Don't try to make every piece of everything visible, right? You have to have those dark areas or you have no depth. Do you want to have no depth? Or do you want to leave some dark areas, like I say? Right? All up to you guys. Very cool, very simple. Now, off this other side, you could do the same thing. You could do rocks. You could do whatever. You could do a bit of grass. You could do anything you wanted to do. Right? What if we had a little bit of our sap green and a little bit of that yellow ochre, because it just makes the most gorgeous, deserty grasses you've ever seen. Right? Tap it until we like it. Right? We're going to get a little mix of the color right down there, and the more yellow that you add to it, the more dead grassy look it gives it. All right? So, come back in here, and we'll start tapping in, following up our little hillside. All right? Tap, right underneath it. Underneath it, and kind of more flat. Underneath it and flat. Underneath it and flat. Underneath it and flat. That's how you're going to line up and keep your perspective correct. Right? You can even get to the edge and dangle down some little grassy bits that fell over the side. Down into our little thing. Oh, I like that look. Just vertical, tapping the brush down, falling over little grassy things that are hanging over the edge. Right? Back in here, we're going to just fill this guy up, back and forth, underneath, a little bit of a U shape, however bright you want it to be. If you want it to be brighter, add more yellow. Remember, it doesn't all have to be exactly the same every time that we go to do it. Each time we do it, another chance, make it a little different. Now, the reason we're doing grass over here is because I'm thinking about launching down this enormous, like a rock bridge over the edge that's going to come out towards us. So I don't want to put too much texture-y stuff back here if I'm going to launch out this rocky bridge. Now I also know that if I want to project my waterfall into the distance, I need a bit of plaque onto the end of the brush, popping it up, covering over some bits. Right? So our bush is around, the waterfall's going to go around it to then jut outwards. Okay? Onto that little friend, we can do all sorts of stuff. We can have it be green, we can have it be yellow, we can do whatever we want to do if we're just using these colors. A couple little bits, right? Hanging out in the daytime. Isn't that gorgeous? Little bit of pressure when you're doing your highlights, right? Full pressure to get all the paint stuck and then pull it off and you get all those little fingery bits. Full pressure when we're doing the shadow. Very light pressure when we're doing the highlights. Our highlight paint is very wet. It wants to stick to something thicker, right? So we have to be such a light-handed touch in order to do that. Remember, guys, if you're watching over on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. And that's all you need to do. Thank you, Marcia. Love ya. Exactly, Kim Ford. Exactly. Ooh, that's a good question. Guys, I have not had dinner yet. So, after this show, I'm hoping the painting sells. So I'll be able to go home and cook dinner for Bailey. We're going to have some food. But what are you eating, or what have you eaten tonight? I'm going to put one more little bushy bit on the edge, covering all of the stuff in darkness. Just like Sauron does. Covers all the land in darkness. Hey, I'm going to go switch. Maybe we'll do a little bit of red onto that. A little bit of red in with our liquid white. Right? A couple little bits. Maybe I want to sneak a little bit of red into that guy too. Because we never all want to do it just the same. So, vice versa. Let's stick a little bit of yellow off the back of this guy. Let him dangle down. A couple little bits. Boop! Do too much and you're not going to like it. Trust me. I've done so many paintings where I've done that one thing too much. And then I don't like that part of the painting or the entire painting for the rest of its days. So don't do too much. I'm trying to be out here showing you the easy stuff. How to do stuff easily, how to project your distance, how to keep your darkness and stuff, right? So you can go do it too. That's the goal. I want you to go paint and see just how beautiful things you can make, right? I want you to do it. I want you to go check it out. I want you to see how sometimes how simple it is to do, right? Some people struggle, sure, and some people comes nice and easy. Maybe you're one of those people where it comes nice and easy to you. Out here, just wiggling our titanium white. So it's a little thick, a little bit of a water line, a couple splashes, right? We'll get out here, drop down, a couple more. Little things, odd, weird. We're not paying attention to. They don't have to be perfect, right? That's the best part about the water. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? As long as we've left some darkness underneath, right? then it's not all the same color. You don't want it to be all the same color. Look at that sky. Holy cow in a handbasket. Okay, now my idea, what I was planning on doing earlier, right, was making sort of like a rock bridge that would come out. But the way that I'm looking at it now, I had a feeling I was going to change my idea just based off of how the painting was coming out. We can get back in here too, drop in a couple little bits of our guy, just skirting them side to side. Little things, they don't all have to connect. They don't all have to be the same amount of brightness. You can get them out into your water. You don't even have to put them in there, honestly. Do whatever you want. But a couple little bits, just kind of crashing against the side as the water's rolling down. Now, we don't do it on this side because we can't see this side. We'd have to be standing over here looking back at us to be able to see any amount of splash on the bottom side. So don't go crazy, okay? Now, if we're not gonna do this crazy rock bridge thing, which, don't get me wrong, I wanted to do, it's just gonna it's gonna have to go down too far. I don't wanna cut up, right? It's just, and it's gonna be easier for everybody that's doing the thing. So, let's get over here, and let's start dropping in something, some tree, something that lives way back here. Maybe we just need a little guy. We'll just get a little guy. Now, in order to do that, what do we need to mix up? If I was going to put a little tree out there, what am I going to mix in order to make the shadow? I almost gave you the whole word. Make the shadow for my tree. What am I going to mix up? And in what ratios, my friends? We like to call it paint with Josh, pull something. You got to tell me. You got to tell me what we're going to mix if we need to put a tree out there. No, we're not using any photo for reference, just literally coming up with it on our own and going. Do I sell a starter kit? No, but I do have the links of all the stuff on my website, and you can go find the Amazon links and put them in your cart and stuff. So I do have that. I also have an Amazon affiliate store, which is amazon.com/shop/paintwithjosh, and you'll find some stuff on there as well. You guys, now remember, if we were going to throw a tree out there, we got to have some of our plaque mix, our deep, dark, shadowy area, right? So let's get out here, and let's decide. We have a little skinny little guy. It doesn't even have to be too big, right? If it's too tall or too big, then it's not going to, it's going to look too close, right? It's got a little thing out there. You don't have to make your trunk all the way down. It's just there for a guideline. We'll go back, we're gonna sneak down and wiggle down so it's nice and sharp, and we've got tons of paint on the brush, and then turn our handle to the side. Not out here like this, otherwise you'll have a big long branch at the top of your tree, right? Turn the brush on the side, like that, very small. The more we go in, the more it starts to get bigger, and then we're using our brush as we're coming down here, pushing out a couple little branches here and there and everywhere, right? It's just a nasty old shadow is all we're looking for. You don't need much else than that, right? Literally, you don't need much else beyond that. Oh, guys, maybe we do a big log that fell. We could do a big old tree log that fell down. Like it was over here and went right into the painting like that. We could. I also want to do some of these little fir tree guys too, just because we got to make everything get taller, right? So as it gets closer, it's got to get taller. And we're going to push down, bang, popping in right over to there, okay? Little old guys in the night. Now, these guys are going to have a couple little bits as they come down. Then they're going to start depositing off in a different way, right? Kind of little boats, little things. They're not all the same. Like a little nest of branches out there. It's literally what we're going to try to do today. Drop down again, make a little smiley face, go underneath it, a little smaller one, go underneath it, a little smaller one, like a little bucket of tree branches. We pop out a little more, we drop down here. We're not trying to hit our tree back there. We get a little taller on the top as well, right? We want it to look weird. We're not trying to make the same exact tree back here. We just want it to look a little odd. Just like that. Fabulous. Legit fabulous, right? The more we do, the more bigger it gets. So let's not do anything else besides that. We do need to go back and darken up his trunk though. All this stuff down in here has got to be dark so it stands out away from all the stuff behind it, right? We need it to be dark. It's got to be dark if it's going to play ball. If it's dark, it's going to stand out. Okay, we're going to take our branch together on this guy again. One more little guy. Boop, 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 boop. Little things. Filling up all that room in our canvas. Okay, now we're going to come back over here. We need a small little brush. A little bit of our liquid white. Just a small little bit. I like using a very small fan brush. A little bit of our sap green. Especially on our further away guy. We're going to start on that edge. You know what? Looks like all of our light is coming in from this side actually. So start over here on our left side and just start popping in little pops of green. Now if our consistency isn't correct, our little pops of green aren't going to come off. They're not going to be there. They're not going to play ball. We have to have a wet enough paint. So our sap green and our liquid white mixture has to be sloppy in order for it to work. And then it will come off your brush, which is literally, quite literally, the smallest tap that you've ever tapped anything to get that bit of brightness to come off, right? Little touch. We don't need too much. It doesn't have to go everywhere. You don't have to see every single branch of every single tree of everything out there. It just doesn't have to be that way. Come in underneath, seal our little bit of our tree into some grass, and we're all set, guys. Seriously, you can do the same thing down here without even doing the bit first. We're doing our branches and stuff first. Just seal it in down there, living on the edge. Living on the edge. All right, now we're gonna come back up here. Same old, look at that brush. It's literally about to split in half. There's like 3 bristles in this brush left. And I think you're gonna do anything for us, okay? We're gonna get out here, and in fact, let's make our trunk first. Let's light up our trunk. So a little bit of our white, a lot of bit of our brown, a lot of bit of our brown, a lot of bit of our yellow. Mix that guy up. There we go. Bang, just like that. Doesn't have to be the same exact color, right? Never is the same exact color. Okay, if all of our light's coming from the left-hand side, we're going to use this brown on our left-hand side. And the more that we tap into it, the darker it gets as it's mixing with that plaque mix. Right? The plaque is going to help dull any bit of bright color down, whether it's brown or green or whatever. Right? A little bit of brown up into the thing, not trying to cover every piece of black. Just have a little touch of brown in there. Little bits, little things people are going to see. But you have to leave the dark shadow of our tree. Otherwise, it's all going to look like just a brown stick with no depth to it. And that's not what you want, right? You want to have it to where it looks like it's round. That's how you get the depth. In front, very thick, very sticky bits of our plaque mix, because we know we're going to have to go across and highlight it with this little guy. Now, let's come in here, start popping on little bits. Again, not trying to cover every single place. So a couple little spaces of green here and there, just on the top of our branches. Not everywhere has got to be the same amount of green. And as it goes backwards, it's going to start getting darker and darker and darker. Right? Like I said, not every bit has to be the same. We're just kind of tapping it in, allowing that liquid white and green to kind of get stuck onto the plaque, and then it changes the color of our brush, and that's okay. That's okay. We got to go back in here, grab a little bit more, and then we'll come up here and we'll start on those guys again. Right? Not trying to cover over every bit, just trying to have a couple little bits of green out there somewhere. All right, a couple little bits of green. Not overfilling everything, not filling all the plaque mix, not doing too much, because it's quite easy to do too much. Right? Once you do too much, you're like, oh, I don't like that part, you know what I mean? And then you go back and do it a little different on your next go. Always happens, guys. You're going to accidentally put on too much paint. You're going to do something. You're going to have a bit of some weirdness that pops away from your branch like that. I really like that, though. That's really cool. Right? But you're going to have some form of some weird thing happen to you. It's going to happen. I can already tell you. I can already tell. And my videos are here to help you go, okay, this happened, why did it happen, how can I prevent it from happening again? You know what I mean? Each time that we go to do it, guys, do a little differently. Now, I'm going to take one with my liner brush, run it through that plaque mix. I'm going to give it 1 or 2 or 3 or 15 little branches, whatever we want it to be. A couple little sticks that maybe didn't grow, because underneath all of these are more branches, right? But we know that the tree never grows the same amount of branches out. And they go in different directions. Some may roll out one way and end up snapping off. You never know. They go out that side. Maybe they get a little bit bigger as they come down here and cut through that grass, right? Wherever you guys want them to be, man, that's where they're going to be. Over here. This guy got a little bit longer. Bink! Just because, right? Oh my God. Tell me that isn't amazing. Doop. Little thing over there. That kind of went out that way, right? They never all have to be the same. They don't have to be the same length. They don't have to come out from the same space. Boop. Bink. Right out of there, guys. Seriously, you can make some really, really cool stuff just from messing about a little bit, right? Mess around, see what you can make with your little trees and your little branches, and make it look really cool, guys. Oh, I like this one. This one is nice, right? Now, we could do a bit of bush at the base of our tree down there and droop it over the side like we did with our other ones. You could do nothing and leave it exactly how it is. You know what I mean? Always the prettiest skies. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm kind of known for my skies. Oh, you mean these? Oh, they're eyes. No, never mind. Never mind. But no, thank you. I appreciate you. Now, you guys are also going to have to come up with a title for this painting. If we end up making a sale and somebody grabs it, right, then they're going to get to come up with the title, and they're going to need your help to come up with that name. Man, that fir tree is just firkin' awesome, you guys. Because it's a fir tree, right? Like firkin. Thank you, Shoni Angel. Appreciate you. Adam, Gentle Power. Very cool, says Jack Anderson. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate aioli sauce. Got it. Can you tell me if you paint with acrylics? It is just oil. We did go over the black. The black was acrylic, right? It was acrylic gesso. So it's very wet, watery gesso paint that spreads out very evenly across our canvas, right? So it was this whole bottom area, and this part of the mountain was all blacked out, and then this part was all white when we started. You'll be able to re-watch this video and see it all the way from the beginning as soon as we stop. And then you guys will be able to redo it, show me your versions, and it's going to be rad. I feel like we're just missing something, though. I feel like there could be more. Now that I'm in my foreground, I'm going to use more black in my black mix. That should help it stand out as being darker than all the rest. All right, I got an idea. Since nobody's got this painting yet, and I got a couple minutes to spare, all right, we're going to throw down just a fallen monster of a log. It's going to sit right down here in the front. So this is your last opportunity to get it. If you want it with no log, with sans log. Less is best. I agree. Right? But what happened if we had, thank you, I appreciate that for the clouds. I appreciate you. What happened if we had a big old tree that was over here? He was out of frame. And he went and just fell into it, cutting across this area down here, right? Lots of color down here. That means lots of area to contrast off of. Check this out. Make it all jiggly. We don't need it to be, 100% straight. Definitely don't want it to be straight. And what we're going to do is fill up more down here than you think you need, right? The bigger it is down here and the skinnier it gets out there, the more it's going to look like it fell into the painting, okay? Little jiggles, little wiggles. He's not big enough, though. He's got to be bigger. Bigger log. There we go. That's a log. Took a log right into our painting, you guys. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You can even change it, come up here, change it like it's drooping down, hanging down a little bit. Bring over a little more and just making it odd shaped, right? It's a big old tree that fell down. Shoo, guys. That's a monster log that fell down. But that's going to give us a lot of room to play with our texture and our highlights and stuff, right? So even with the brown that we already have, all that texturous paint is already there from our brush, and we can start coming in and tapping down, right? Maybe picking up Tap it down here. Come back, pick up again. If you've dropped too much in one place, I do it all the time. Don't worry. The more that we tap and leave little differences in between, right? The more little ridges of bark and different little things that we're going to start to see as well. Now, we're probably going to have to go make up a lot more paint with this brown color because I don't have enough. But the more that we get on there, the brighter it's going to stand out. Now, again, we don't want everywhere to be the same, so leave some little gaps. If we're not leaving gaps, then we're not going to be happy pandas. We will be sad pandas if we do not leave any gaps. Okay, so leave some gaps of darkness in between. Taking my same three, my wood mix, my 2 browns and the yellow ochre, and we added a bit of white to this, just so it brightened it up a touch, the littlest bit. Right, gotta leave them gaps though. Leaving the gaps. If you're not, I don't know what you're expecting to have by the time you get done if you're not leaving these little gapped out areas. Right? It's going to be a giant brown, super bright thing. And is that what mine looks like? No. Mine is a very dark, barely brown thing. Right? Remember, if all of our light's coming from this side might be catching more on the bottom. Right? Not all the same. Look at those dark ridges and gaps and shadows. And not everything has to be in the light all the time either. Right? Of course, we're going to have some light and some dark spaces on some things, but not everything has a direct light and dark side. Go outside right now before the sun goes down, or maybe tomorrow morning. Go check it out. Depending on your lighting conditions, it may look like you can see the whole thing, or maybe just a peek of it. You know what I mean? Like it never has to be anything. Has to be is wrong. I do not like that word. Nothing has to do anything. Now, with the rest of this plaque and a bit of our odorless mineral spirits, let's launch some branches. Just to pop it up, extend it, grow that sucker. All right, especially over here. Watch this come out. Lots of paint on the pushing full against the brush to make it weird, to make it thick. Right? I don't want the branch out here in the front to be so thin. We need it to be thick down there. We got to push a little harder. Get it to attach on to our guy. What if we cut and crisscrossed him? Boop. Push the branch off that side. Right? Just make it thick where it starts and thin it out where it's going. And you can have all sorts of stuff that you would never even imagine. Boop. A little guy over here. Maybe some of them aren't so big. We got a couple little pokers, little stickers, little doers that just broke off when they were going. Maybe this guy would go down off the underside. The underside. Which, where are we putting it? Where are we putting all these branches, guys? Does anybody know the answer? Are we putting them in the darkest places of our painting? Like here, if I were to put one down here, would you ever see this guy if he's in the darkness? No, right? We're not going to see it. So we're putting it into the light places. Step into the light, like Benedict Cumberbatch says. Oh, goodness! Isn't that amazing? Just quite literally cutting through the brightness of the grass. The brightest part of the grass, because that's where your eye is going to look, is the brightest part of the grass. And then you're going to see, oh shit, there's a branch right there. You know what I mean? You're going to see something different every time you go to do it. Guys, gals, painting pizzazes. Zip, zap, zoop. A little bits over here, swoop. I like him, you guys. That's really cool. That is fantastic. I'm going to get a little touch of my brown onto here and see if we can't just get a small little highlight onto a few branches without having to use the palette knife. Oh, guys, I like that. A little bit of our odorless mineral spirits into the yellow ochre, and then rolling that very thin, watery paint over our other thin, watery paint. Just trying to give it a little touch of bright is all. In some places. Not every place has to be so bright. This guy caught a bunch out here on the end, but trying to leave a darker side of our branch as well, which is going to help. It's going to help, guys. Gonna help. So, Sugar is going to come up with a title for this one, because it's all done over there in painting land. We had an excellent time with this guy. Look at that branch. Dude, how big was this tree, right? Because if this guy is this tall and he's only that thin, how big was this guy? Because he's immensely thicker than the other one, which means he goes on for much further out of your painting, right? Oh, just fantastic. Just fantastic. Ooh, that thing came down, it was like thud. Like you could hear that. If no one was in the forest and that tree fell, you could still hear it. What's up, Laura, over there on YouTube? Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate you. Man, Mystic Mountain. I like your guys' titles. Thanks, Todd. Love you over there on TikTok. Hidden Valley. Smaug's Happy Place. The Edge of the Sky. I like that. Bradley G. Wish I had those wish England had those skies. Yeah, right? England is very much the darker, drearier black with our blue. I like making English skies. Don't get me wrong. I love a good old, just a bland English sky. But this one, we had to get some whiteness up into those cloudiness. Whoo! Timber Falls. I like that. Hell's End. Do I see a dragon in the clouds? Kinda. If you're looking at like, this is the eye, that's the snout, and then you got an open mouth. He's like, rawr. Just rawr. Right over there. I can see that dragon. Step into the light. You carry something that's far more precious. Did you guys know that I actually have the precious? The one ring to rule them all? Don't be jealous now. Don't be jelly. But it is in fact the one ring to rule them all. With the elvish writing, the ancient elvish writing. Oh! This is fantastic. And if I put it on, I go invisible. Look, you can't see me because I put on my ring. The one ring, you guys. Forged by the great Lord Sauron himself in the fires of Mount Doom. They poured into this ring his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. This is the one ring. I gotta go watch more Lord of the Rings. Oh, look at those birds. Guys, gals, paint, clouds. For Sauron will have dominion over all life to the endings of the world. Zip, zip, zip. Boop. Look at that, my friends. So, make sure that if you like this one, you go to paintwithjosh.com because it's available for you to get and grab, put it up on your wall. In about a week and a half, I'll send it to you. As soon as it gets done drying, right? But it's available up there for you to get, and then you can title it. Just casually announces that I am Sauron, in fact, yes. Nobody heard that, it's fine. Sasquatch Ridge, Lost Rock Falls. Timber Falls is a good idea. Just passing by and want to say it looks nice. Thanks, Eddie, appreciate you, dude. Let's see. 2 in the sky, 1 in the eye. The drop-off. I like that. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you. Remember, guys, if you like this one, go to paintwithjosh.com. It's the very first thing on the front of the website. Very first thing you would encounter is this painting. If you get it during the live show, you get to pick its title. If not, then I'm going to choose its title from all of our random title suggestions that we've gotten. Right? So, you're about to miss out on your opportunity. One of the main perks of getting the Paint with Josh painting is you get to title it. So, if you want to grab it, you've got mere moments left. I'm going to finish cleaning off these brushes, and then we'll title it. See if somebody gets it. We can have a light party. We can do all sorts of fun stuff around here. But, we got to clean off these brushes first. So, you guys keep coming up with titles. Like I said, if it does get grabbed during the show, then that person gets to pick from all your titles. If not, then I'm going to randomly pick from all of your titles. So, if you don't type in what you want to call the painting, then we will never know your title suggestion. So, type it in now, guys. What do you want to call this painting? Man, these brushes hold a lot of thinner if you dunk them too much. There we go. Are you guys excited for the Paint with Josh brush release? Coming out soon. Sugar! It's 4 days away, guys. Should be during my Friday night show, in fact, is when the brushes will get released. During the Friday night freestyle. Awesome. This one brush. Remember, this is a big old Pro Series canvas, you guys. And this one brush, I think, is about had enough. It looks like it's got a forked tongue. Like, keep your forked tongue behind your teeth. I have not, what does he say? I have not traveled through fire and, no. I can't remember. Okay, I don't want to say if it's not right. But yeah, this brush, maybe we'll give this brush away to whoever grabs this painting. It's going to come with this little brush right in there. And then you'll have an extra gift just for getting it during the painting. It doesn't have the power to rule over the one wave. That's true. That's true. That is true. TikTok is back, but you can't reinstall it yet. Yes, I have it on 2 of my devices and not on the other one. So we're able to go live on one of the devices while we're going live over here on TikTok or on YouTube with everybody else, right? Paint with Josh brushes. Okay, so guys, it looks like Dragon River. I like these things. If it was up to me, right? Whoever said Timber Falls, that was a good title. In my opinion, that one deserves to be on the back of the paint. So, come forth if you said or suggested Timber Falls as the name, and then we'll get out here and we'll throw an old title on it. Timber Falls. Sure, guys. Look at this big old gallery canvas. The best. There we go. The best thing that I could possibly paint on just for you guys. You guys. There we go. This one's number 1665. And we're calling it Timber Falls. Painted on 1/20/2024. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com and then find all the stuff that you need. And like I said, if you grab it during the show, you're going to get a brush along with it. Just saying. Zip. I'm going to do the top of our canvas over here real quickly. Just real quick like. Really quick like. A little bit of my liquid white. And then you honestly don't even need to add any other color to your brush. If you get the liquid white, and you can drag some of that color around, it'll help it spread a little bit further. And then you got no messing about. You didn't even have to add any extra blue. In my case, I am missing a little bit. Pop a little bit on here. But sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Finish the whole top. Bang. Just like that. Now, got a nice clean top edge to the painting that looks very much like the sides of the painting. Can't move that hand. There. There we go. So, you guys have been amazing. This is my Friday, by the way. Monday is my Friday. You guys all got to go to work today. And I get to sleep in tomorrow. Actually, that's not true because I had to wake up and take my kid to school. But in any case, at least I don't have to do any live and that's not true because I got 3 virtual classes tomorrow. Woo! I'm going to be painting all day long, baby. 3 virtuals. And then I got 1 virtual on Wednesday morning. And then I've got to get tattooed for the rest of the day. So that's what I'll be doing on Tuesday and Wednesday. My supposed days off have 4 classes and a tattoo, all in the same 48-hour thing. So not really a day off, but you never can take a day off when you have your own business, especially if you're an online influencer, blah, blah, blah. Right? Did you guys know that no one buys my paintings when I'm not live? It's only while I'm live, which is why I try to push as many as we can. By the way, we've got other paintings that are much, much, much less. They're older, trying to get some of the older stock to go find a new home, so we lowered the prices lower than you've ever seen them before in your life. So go check out paintwithjosh.com, find the little 3 menu button thing up here, click that, drop it down to collections, the originals collection, and then you'll see all of the paintings and all their prices there. And you can get one during the live show. Always makes it more fun for everybody else watching. So, Timber Falls, awesome title. You guys were amazing. And it's been a phantasmic time, you guys. It's been awesome. So, beyond that, I'm going to say goodbye to the Facebook and the YouTube crews. You guys have been stellar. Thank you so much for watching the video. I can't wait to see your versions of the painting, so please send it into facebook.com/officialpaintwithjosh or instagram.com/paintwithjoshk. You can also email me at management@paintwithjosh.com. Beyond that, I'd love to see the photos. Please send them in. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Let's have a good day and blah, bow. Boosh! It's over, Rover. Man, that one came out looking so good, guys.